Hi everybody, welcome to the live stream. I got tangled up in my phone cord, in my microphone cord, so that's why I'm a couple minutes late. There we go. How's everybody doing? Put in the chat where you're coming from and let me know where you are and all that good stuff. Today we're going to do a Fauve style painting inspired by Maurice de Vlaminck, one of my favorite painters. So I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to put in the chat his name in case you don't know him. He's a pretty famous Fauve painter, but you never know. Maurice, if I could spell, it would help. Oops. I'm trying to spell his name and I can't. Okay, Maurice de Vlaminck. That's who we're looking at today, kind of as inspiration. And also, you know, Matisse did a lot of Fauve style paintings. So looks like my microphone's going into the red a little bit. Let me tone it down. Okay, so yeah, pop into the chat and tell me where you are coming from, where you're watching from, and have you seen any of my other YouTube videos about the Fauves? I'm on a kick with the Fauves right now, mainly because they use the kind of color that I love, which is that really bold, brilliant color. They don't really paint, or they didn't. There's still painters that paint like Fauves. I'm one of them. But the traditional Fauves from the early 1900s and late 1890s, those guys and women didn't use local color. So local color is what the color something actually is, local color. You know, the tree is brown, the sky is blue, that kind of thing. They didn't feel like doing that. They were like, nope, we're gonna like blow it up. We're gonna have this really bright color. And so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go to the overhead camera and we'll put a little music on. Tell me if it's too loud. I think it should be okay. Because you guys are hearing it, I can't hear it. From Bend, Oregon. Oh, did you really? You took some of my classes? Awesome, I love it. Anne, I love it, love it. Good, good, good. So what do you love most about the Fauves? I mean, my thing is I love their color. I love the way they played with nature. We're going to use 3 colors today, the same 3 colors I always use. And actually, I'm gonna sub out one. I was using quinacridone magenta all the time, one of my favorite colors always, but I'm gonna sub it out for quinacridone red because I really want to get a vibrant orange. And this quinacridone magenta has a little bit too much blue in it for it to get a really vibrant orange. So we're gonna work with quin red. Benzimidazolone yellow. You could also use Hansa yellow, which is a really good neutral yellow. It doesn't shift to the green side. It doesn't shift to the red side. Phthalo blue, as you know, phthalo blue is like the strongest thing out there. It's like kryptonite. And I like to use phthalo blue because I get a wide range of purples when I mix it with the quinacridones. So I get a really good purple, and you get some killer greens when you mix phthalo and benzimidazolone. And you'll notice that I've got these tiny bottles of phthalo and quin red, tiny, and a big bottle of benzimidazolone yellow. That's because benz yellow is a weaker pigment than these two. These two are super, super strong. So you need drops of this. And phthalo blue, honestly, you need such a little amount of it. It's crazy. So we will play with that. Also, I think in the description, if I'm not mistaken, I really hope I put this in the description. Let me just check quickly. Yeah, I did. I put this silicone mat in the description. I'm gonna just fold it over so you can see the edge of it. See this right here? This is actually a kitchen mat, and I use this now for my palette when I'm painting small format on the tabletop. This makes the best palette in the world. So that's also in your description. And everything you need to follow along is in your description. And of course, this will be replayed, so you can go back and watch it and paint with it and all kinds of stuff. So, okay, let's start with our palette. And Anne, tell me if the music's too loud. I can always turn it down. Let's have some yellow, a little phthalo blue, a little bit of phthalo blue here, and some quin red. This is going to give us some amazing oranges and things like that. And then titanium white. Titanium white. We always need a lot of titanium white, so we'll put a big blob of it out there. The brushes I like to use are these Princeton brushes. I use them for everything. I know these are supposed to be watercolor brushes, but I like to use them with these fluid acrylics because they just do such a good job. So we'll start with the number 12, Princeton round. These are the Elite round. Such a good brush, you all. I love them. Okay, you'll notice I don't have any water on my brush. I almost never put water on my brush. Just gonna put my paper towels here. So yeah, I don't use much water when I'm painting. So let's start with a yellow sky. Just Ben's yellow, Ben's Midazolam yellow. I mean, holy cow. Is that a gorgeous color or what? Just this gorgeous yellow, super vibrant. That's the thing I like so much about the Fauves. Everything they did was so vibrant. I'm going to just add a little titanium white in there. And let me know if you can see and hear okay, if everything's working, cameras and microphones and stuff like that. If you have questions, you guys ask me questions, because you know I was affiliated with Golden Acrylics for over 20 years. And so if you have questions about acrylic, I probably know the answer. If I don't know the answer, I'll find somebody who does. Just keep moving with that yellow. And you see how I'm breaking up the space a little bit with the white here and there, just so it's not just one flat color. Give it a little interest, a little texture. But I do love that yellow. Golly, it's gorgeous. We're going to go about 2/3 of the way down with our yellow. Let's throw a little titanium white in there for flavor. Now I am going to paint what is called alla prima, which means wet into wet. It doesn't actually mean wet into wet. I think the technical translation of that is all at once, alla prima. But what it means for us as painters is that I'm gonna paint into wet paint. And when you're painting into wet paint, it's easy to get mud if you don't pay attention to the way you're mixing your colors. So I see we've got some people joined us. I don't see, let me know where you're from. I know we've got some people in the room. I'd love to know where you're from. Have you taken any classes with me? Have you watched any other videos on YouTube channel? Let me know what's going on. So now I'm going to shift over to an orange for our ground. We're going to have our ground down here. And I'm going to paint that, kind of pump up the orange. I'm going to start with quin red. And you'll notice I didn't wash my brush. I didn't put it in the water. I almost always paint with a dirty brush. I am that kind of girl. Mainly because if you're washing your brush, oh, look at that big stripe of red I got there. Oh, well. Mainly if you're washing your brush and then bringing that wet brush back to your palette, you're going to end up bringing a lot of water to your, oops, I don't want white. I want yellow. You can end up bringing a lot of water to your palette. So just watch that. If you wash your brush, make sure that you rinse it and dry it really well. And I have way too much red and not enough yellow. So let's see if I can fix that. I really wanted a vibrant orange down here. And I got a little carried away with the Quin Red, which is not hard to do. So I'm putting this paint on fairly thick and kind of soupy. I like a nice juicy background. Jacob's here. You're painting on oil rigs today? Say hello to Shop Bunny for me. Up in North Dakota. How cold is it up there today? Okay, so that's pretty orange. I wanted it a little bit oranger, but oranger, orangey. But this will do. This is okay. As long as we've got some good contrast between the sky and the ground, we're in good shape. Now, I'm going to do something super crazy, but that's because the Fauves loved all this brilliant color. So I'm going to take some titanium white. Again, I'm not washing my brush. I'm just going to wipe it off. Just wipe it off. And I'm going to take some titanium white. And what will happen is that when I pull through all of this wet paint here, this titanium white is going to bring with it all of that underpainting color, which is kind of good. We kind of want that. So I'm going to start at the top here. We're going to have some big trees that go from the top almost all the way to the bottom. So just push down with my brush, pushing down, and see how it just picks up that color that's there. Wipe my brush, go back into the titanium white, do it one more time over here, maybe a little bit thinner. And then let's do the same thing. Over here we'll have one kind of leaning a little bit. I'm pushing down with the brush too, so it picks up that color. And that's fine. That's not going to bother me in the least. And then let's have one more, maybe here, like so. And there's a lot of titanium white down there. I've used a lot of white, but that is going to serve my purpose here in just a minute. Wipe my brush. Let's get a clean paper towel. Wipe my brush. Okay, now I'm going to have some blue trees. And of course, wherever the blue hits this orange, it's going to go a little brown. But that's okay, because honestly, this phthalo blue is so powerful, it really just overwhelms everything. So I'm going to just pull it right down here like this. Come back the other way. And see how that blue, it kind of blends into the white. And it's not as muddy as you would think it would be after I pull over all of these colors, because I've actually laid that titanium white down and it kind of took the place of those colors. So I'm in good shape so far. Let's go right here. This one's going to be a little smaller. And I'm just pushing that titanium white out to the edge there. We'll go over here and do the same thing with the blue, phthalo blue. See how powerful it is? It just kind of mows everything down. It doesn't really matter what you did before. You put phthalo blue down, it's like you're going to get phthalo blue. That's all there is to it. Let's bring some of that titanium white in a little bit. And over here, same thing. Load it up. Get a nice wiggle in your brush there for the tree trunk. Give it a nice wiggle. Okay, so we have blue trees, right? Why not? Why not have blue trees? I mean, you know what? If Matisse and Vlaminck and André Derain and all those guys could paint blue trees, that gives me license to paint blue trees. So there you go. Okay, so I'm going to go on with my blue here and kind of fill these guys in. Get a little bit darker here and there with my juicy paint. And I'm using a fair amount of paint too. So, you know, if you have questions about paint application or, you know, just about anything, let me know, because I can answer those questions for you. Let's load this up with blue. It's a nice, let's have a little twig right here. Just kind of sticking out. And maybe we'll throw one over here too. And another one up here. Let's have another one right there. Okay. Keep loading up that blue on these tree trunks. So how long have we been painting? What, 10 minutes? Let me check. Okay, we've been painting about 15 minutes. And the reason I wanted to look at that and point it out is that one of the things that has come up over the years when I've been teaching is people say, well, I don't have any time to paint. And honestly, you don't need hours and hours and hours. You can get some pretty good stuff done in 15, 20 minutes, you know. You can at least get a painting started in half an hour. And then you can always come back to it. Especially if it's small format, like this is an 8 by 10. Now, if I was painting on a, 4 by 6 foot canvas, that would be a different story. But, painting small, you can get a lot of stuff done in not very much time. And a lot of great masterpieces are a lot smaller than you think they are. For instance, that great painting that George O'Keeffe did of the poppies, that really famous one that you see all the time, it's about 8 by 10 inches, the original. It's not huge. They're just not as big as we think they are. So let's have a couple more twigs. I'm going to call them twigs. They're actually branches. I'll have some more branches over here. And the cool thing about these brushes, when you are using these brushes, is if you just roll the brush as you go, it'll make these really nice marks like this. So I'll just go here and roll a little bit. And see, you get these really cool tree branches. Let's have a couple more. I think we need one over here. And then maybe one right there. And I'm barely touching the canvas with the brush. Barely touching it. Okay, so I'm finished with this brush. So this brush is going to go in the water. And I'm not going to use it anymore. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun with texture and whatnot back here and in the foreground. We're just going to play with filling in these trees and the ground. Just going to play with texture. So I've got a small square brush. It's like a flat. And the nice thing about this brush is it makes a really nice paint stroke. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to get a little Quin Red, dab it on my brush, and then just dab it. Start to dab it around. You can use the flat of the brush or the side of the brush, and we'll just start building it up. It'll take a couple of layers, but we'll start with the red, the quin red. We'll start there. And I'm leaving space, and I say this every time I paint trees. Remember to leave air, leave space when you paint trees because they're not solid objects. The trunk is solid, but the tree leaves and whatnot are not solid. So be sure you leave air for that. And we're just going to keep filling this in. I have a little bit down here. Turning my brush both ways, working with just the red to begin with. Just the quin red to start. Let's have some more over here. Turn that brush multiple ways. Looks like I got some blue on my brush, okay. Wipe my brush really well. Now I'm going to come into the blue, but I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to add a little titanium white to it. And we'll start to lay that down. That's not light enough. Let's have some more titanium white. We'll start laying that down. Go in between where you put the red. We'll come back and do some stuff on top of the red too, but right now it's pretty wet. So we want to, you know, exercise a little caution because you don't want to make mud. So we'll come back and do a little bit more of the on the leaves as we go. I'm going to put a little bit more of that blue down here. And I'm just going to keep building. A little more titanium white. Turn my paintbrush sideways. And you wouldn't believe how fast this dries. This is already dry down here. And of course, I'm in Southern California and I think it's 75 degrees outside. So that has a lot to do with it. Things dried a lot slower when I was in my studio in San Francisco. Okay. How exciting watching paint dry, right? But I'm open for you to ask me questions, so please do. That's what I'm here for. Okay, now we're going to go a little pink. And these guys right here, these red, look like they're still pretty wet. So let's try doing this with just titanium white. I wipe off my brush really well. I want to make sure I don't have any wet paint on my brush, but I'm not going to wash it. So let's try a little pink. And for that, I think I'm just going to need a little titanium white. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, let's put a little tiny bit of quin magenta into that. Just a tiny bit. Yep, there we go. That looks pretty good. So the idea here is that we just keep building as we go, and pretty soon we have a little forest going. And we're going to get to the land down here in a minute. I haven't forgotten about it. We'll get down there in a minute. I've got a little bit more vibrant quin magenta now, or quin red rather. And so when you're painting wet into wet like this, if I put this brush down on top of something that's wet, like I think it's wet right here, I'll pick up a little bit of that blue. Then I'm just going to flip my brush over and go back into the paint. And hopefully I haven't picked up so much of that blue that it transfers to my brush. See, it's on top of my brush. So now I can just wipe my brush, go back into the quin red and refresh it, and so it doesn't get quite so muddy. I think we're doing pretty good here. Let's do a little bit more red here and there. I'm going to start layering these on top of one another now. And now I'll come back with titanium white. And we'll just start going on top of everything. We're still leaving a lot of air, but we want to kind of make the trees look a little more lush. So we do that with a little titanium white and kind of go in between those places, filling things in and still leaving lots of air. I have to say though, this brush is my favorite brush for making tree foliage because it just has such a nice shape. All right, I think we're doing really good with our trees. I'm gonna go a little side brush here. All right, so we've got our trees. I'm finished with this. Oh no, I'm not finished with this brush. No, I'm not. But I do have to wash it. So one of the few times I'll wash a brush. So I'm washing this one, and then I'm going to make sure that I dry it really well. Make sure it has no water in it. Wipe it off on paper towels. And now we're going to play with down here. Kind of similar. We're going to use the that paint stroke is called Tache, T-A-C-H-E. That was a very popular paint stroke for the Impressionists. That little touch paint stroke, Tache. I think that's what it means. I think Tache means touch. And look, I've got a red thing here. Let's fix that. Or maybe not. Let's leave it. Let's just leave it. We'll do something else over there. I'll think of something else over there. Okay, foreground. Let's do some fun stuff in the foreground with, like, you know, bushes, or I don't know what you would call them. I guess they're bushes. Let's call them bushes. So we'll have a few little bushes here. Let's go lighter because we need a little contrast. Yeah, there we go. So we're just going to build these guys up here in the foreground. Let's have a little more titanium white. And let's add some yellow in. Oh yeah, I love that yellow. A little titanium white. And I know there aren't blue trees. Well, maybe there are, I don't know. But for the most part, there probably aren't blue trees. But that really doesn't matter, does it? If you're the painter, you can make the trees any color you want. So remember that. You don't have to stick to the colors Mother Nature gives you. You can make it anything you want. It's your painting. Do whatever you want. So I'm just building up, I guess you call them bushes. That's what I'm going to call them. Little bushes. And let's get a little more titanium white in that. For flavor. And maybe we'll have a few over here too. Let's make these a little more red. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that blue. Use the side of my brush. And a little bit of the red. Use the side of my brush. See how that blue got into the red there that I was using? Makes a nice kind of dark purple. Now when we're up around the trees though, we're going to need a little bit of titanium white. So I think I'll make a purple. Let's get that a little bit more red. That phthalo blue, I'll tell you, it overpowers everything. Okay, so now I've got a purple, a light purple, with a little bit of titanium white in it. Now let's switch over to our number 6, round. Let's pick up a little bit of that purple. Because we need a little variation in the paint stroke, you know. You don't want everything looking just exactly the same, right? So I'll come back with the number 6, which is a round. That was a flat that I was using earlier. And this is a round. So this gives us a little bit of a different paint stroke, a little bit of different look there, some interest, right? Let's have a little bit of that dark purple back here. And I feel like the middle of our painting is a little bit sparse. So I think we're going to have to put some growing things back there. I think we'll have to do something back there. Let's have a little red. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that quin red over here as well. And you can see those different paint strokes. It really matters. You know, you get the nice flat paint stroke, and then you do the more pointed paint stroke from the round on top of it. Gives you nice texture, really nice texture. Okay, let's do a little titanium white over here. I don't want it too white. Let's have a little bit of that red in it. I don't think I want a stark white. Yeah, that's better. Okay, our trees look pretty good, and our foreground looks pretty good. I think we need a little more work up here on our tree leaves because they're pretty static. So I'm going to go in with my well, before I do that, I want to do some foliage in the background here because I'm going to pick up my number 12 brush to go in here. And if I do that, once I get the number 12 going, I have to put this in the water. So I don't want to put this in the water just yet. I'm going to make another dark purple with a little quin red and a little bit of phthalo blue. It's got a little bit of titanium white in it. And right back here, we'll just have a few little things. Oh, good. This gives me a chance to cover up my mistake with the red, the red line that I made there. There, I can cover it up. Good. Perfect. We'll just have a few of these little guys back here. Otherwise, our background is just a little on the bland side. The round brush just is perfect for making that kind of shape. I just love it for that. A couple here. Maybe a tiny one here. Maybe one here. Just tiny. Just something in the distance there so it doesn't look too flat. Now we'll go back to our tree. We're almost done. Almost finished, but I've got my number 12. Washed it. Wipe it really, really well. I want no water at all on this baby. I don't want to bring any water to my canvas or my paint. Okay, and I'm going to need a little clean titanium white. So put a little titanium white out here. Because I think we're going to go titanium white. Maybe all titanium white. Let's see. I want to make sure this brush is really dry. Okay, let's see if we're going to go all titanium white or if we're going to add something to it. Let's see how it looks. I think the titanium white will be fine. So I really am just going in here and giving another shape to these leaves with my round brush because I made them with a square brush, but I'm not trying to obliterate the colors or anything. I just want to soften that squareness a little bit, and it also gives another layer of color to the trees. And just touching with my paintbrush, but I am using a number 12, which is pretty big for this size canvas. So just touching that paintbrush different ways, you know, different directions for that, but it just gives you another layer of color and complexity in those trees. And when we get down here, we just go with maybe the tip. That gives you a different size. Just keep reloading it. And I'm using it pretty wet too. So how long have we been painting? About 35 minutes, something like that. You can absolutely do an entire painting in 30 minutes. Okay, I think we're getting there. See just a few places. We should have a little bit more white. Okay. Well, we are getting to the end of our live stream. And I think our painting is finished pretty much. I don't think we can do anything else to it. So that's our Fauve style painting for today. I'm going to be doing these live streams on Fridays. So hopefully you can join me just right here on YouTube. Join me for a live stream on Friday. I'm going to pop into the camera here in a quick second. At least I think I am. I was going to put me in a little overlay so you can, I hate to just talk to the camera I mean, I hate to just talk without having a head attached to it, you know what I mean? Okay, so there I am. Really big though. That wasn't exactly what I had planned. I'm in a huge, huge, huge window here. That's not what I wanted, you guys. Maybe I should try this. Let's try this. Well, anyway, yeah. I wanted to just say hello in a little circle, and my little circle doesn't seem to be working. So, sorry about that. That's really interesting. Wonder why my little circle isn't working. Anyway, I'm going to be doing these every Friday. I'll get this little circle working. But what I want to do is with you all that are in the room now, do you have any questions about paint? Do you have any questions about, you know, application, brushes, whatever? Because I'm here to answer your questions. That's what I'm here for. And don't forget that I post 2 new videos every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so you can ask me questions now, or you can put questions in the comments in those paintings that I post every week on Tuesday and Thursday. And I'm happy to answer your questions. So thank you, Anne, for joining me, and Jacob, and all the rest of you that jumped in here. And I'll get the little circle head working one of these days. But check it out for sure on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Make sure you pop into YouTube and take a look at those new videos that I upload every week, every week, okay? All right. I am going to check out now, and have a great day. And remember what I always say. What do I always say? Keep painting. I'll see you next time. Bye.